Nick cautiously opened it, only to find that it was a villager inviting them to join a local bonfire party. To avoid arousing suspicion, the two had no choice but to attend. But the moment they arrived, they sensed something was wrong. The surrounding residents were all staring at them with unfriendly eyes. The little boy who had seen them go out at night was now talking to others. Feeling guilty, the two began to panic. At that moment, a villager came to fetch them, bringing them to the mayor. It turned out the father and son they had killed were the mayor's brother-in-law and nephew, who had been missing for several days. The mayor suspected they had run into danger in the forest, and had organized a search party. The reason he had asked Nick and his brother to come was because he hoped they could help in the search. Though extremely reluctant, they had to agree in order not to raise suspicion. The mayor then handed them the repaired car keys, telling them to drive and join the search. In the car, the two were tense. Anton believed the mayor had already begun to suspect them, and that returning the car was a way to test them. If they turned around and fled, it would confirm they were involved in the father and son's disappearance. The only choice was to follow the villagers into the forest. After all, it was vast, and finding the bodies would be no easy task. What they hadn't expected was that the mayor knew the forest extremely well, and was fully aware that Nick and Anton had first gone hunting there. Just then, the villagers brought hunting dogs, and soon the group entered the forest, heading straight for the burial site. Spotting signs of disturbed soil, they began to dig. Before long, the father and son's bodies were unearthed. The brothers' faces instantly changed. While the villagers were still overcome with grief, they turned and bolted, racing toward their vehicle. It didn't take long for the villagers to notice their escape, but by the time they gave chase, the brothers had already started the car and fled. They hadn't gone far before the fuel line began leaking. The mayor had already suspected them earlier, and had sabotaged their car. Soon, all the gas was gone. Helpless, the two abandoned the vehicle, and ran into the forest. The pursuing villagers unleashed the hunting dogs. It didn't take long before they caught up, knocking Anton to the ground. Nick rushed to help, only to have his leg bitten by a dog. Anton quickly drew his knife, and killed the animal, but Nick was already covered in wounds. With the villagers about to catch up, Anton left Nick behind. What awaited Nick was the villagers' unrestrained fury. After venting their rage, the mayor ordered some to pursue Anton, while the rest took Nick back. Nick was brought to a warehouse, where he faced the angry villagers. With no way out, he confessed everything. The mayor was heartbroken upon hearing the truth. Just then, a villager shouted that Anton had been caught. The mayor handed Nick a hunting rifle. They didn't want to stain their own hands with blood, but someone had to pay for the wrongful deaths. They told Nick that if he killed Anton, it would appease the villagers' anger, and they would let him go. Looking at the childhood friend he had grown up with, Nick couldn't bring himself to do it. Seeing his hesitation, the mayor reminded him to think carefully. Kill Anton, and he could leave. Refuse, and both of them would die here. Hearing this, Nick finally raised the rifle. With a single gunshot, Anton died at his hands. The mayor kept his word, allowing Nick's wife to take him away. They spared him not out of mercy, but because he had personally killed his best friend, and carried the weight of multiple lives on his conscience. For the rest of his life, he